I got stopped for speeding by a hunky police officer and he asked me out. It feels wrong, but at the same time, I have fantasized about this. To set the scene, I was traveling back on the highway from a friend's house at 5 a.m. after a girls' night. I had to be at work, and functional, by 9 a.m. so picture me in a car, in PJs, no makeup and a mug of coffee. As I enjoyed my drive, I saw a pair of blue flashing lights in the distance but thought nothing of it. As the lights drew closer, I realized it was a police car, so I pulled into the low lane to let them pass. But they followed me. I pulled into the middle lane, so did they, and that's when I realized that somehow, I had effed up. Hands gripping the wheel, I pulled over and stopped the car, sweat starting to gather on my forehead. An officer knocked on the window. I looked out into his blue eyes. He was giving me Blue Steel vibes and my cheeks immediately blooded with a pink blush. I rolled down the window and he asked,
"Good morning, miss. Do you know how fast you were going?"
I said, "No, officer. I didn't know I was doing anything wrong." He smiled and said,
"The thing is, you were driving really erratically, so I need you to step out of the car so we can breathalyze you."
Gesturing to my mug of coffee, he said, "Is there anything in there that you need to tell me about?" I said no, but he checked it anyway. I got out of the car, acutely aware of my pink PJs and fluffy hoodie. First, he made me walk in a line to prove my coordination, then he made me blow into the breathalyzer and thankfully I passed both tests. From the corner of my eye I saw another man sitting in the car. He poked his head out and gestured to Blue Steel, who guided me over to the police car. His sergeant was sitting in the passenger seat looking at a small camera. He turned to me and said, "Get in the back. I need you to watch this." Sure enough, there I was, driving at 90+ miles per hour and swerving all over the lanes like a total lunatic. Blue Steel chuckled, which was met with a haughty stare from his sergeant, who looked at me and said,
"Give me your license, please."
With that, I was slapped with a ticket and points on my license. A few weeks later, I was at work when I got a call from PC Rogers. I had totally forgotten about Blue Steel, so once again, I found myself in a panic. When we spoke, he said,
"Hi Ellie, we met a few weeks ago on the M25, and I gave you a ticket. You left your license holder in my car. Would you like it back?"
Curious, I agreed and he said, "Great. So there is a town halfway that has a nice cafe. Meet me there? I can buy you coffee for your trouble." I said, "Officer, wouldn't that be inappropriate?" And he said,
"No, not if it's a date. I don't have to be on duty when it happens."
I didn't know what to say. It was exciting like something out of a rom-com, but it also felt icky. He clearly had good chat, but it felt like he was using his job as a way in, instead of just being straight with me. But at the same time, I was worried about what would happen if I said no. He was really cute, and I was curious, so I said, "Look, officer, you guys have had my card holder for weeks. If you wanted to see me, then you should have just asked instead of coming up with false pretenses." He laughed and clearly liked my flirty tone. I also added, "And seeing as I never gave you my number, can I assume you looked me up on a police database?" He paused and said cheekily,
"I can't comment on that, but maybe you should be a detective."
Honestly, this whole conversation sounded like a cheesy preamble from a porno. Fast forward 3 years, we are married and I am expecting our first baby. It just goes to show, ladies, sometimes it pays to speed.